So, Scoob, the movie came out a day ago, and the movie is already not well liked. Of course, there's those people who do love the movie, but looking at the score on IMDb, it isn't really that great, and the score could, of course, rise and fall at any moment or day. But considering that the movie does not have a really high score on IMDb, which of course IMDb is not really the first choice you'd go to, and on Metacritic, it's also on 6.1, and on even on Rotten Tomatoes, it's at 71%. So general audiences seem to be along line the critics for this one. There are some movies that do have lower scores on IMDb that I actually like, but yeah, I have not seen this movie, so I will not be giving any of my opinions on this movie, and be looking at reviews of this movie. So basically, there are two sides of the coin of this movie: people who like the movie and people who hate the movie. It was still, but despite this, it was still an instant number one on VOD over Capone, which was another one of those indie movies that no one was gonna watch. Basically, let's look at the reviews for this movie. So yeah, there are some movies that a lot of people love it. A lot of people say it's one of the best movies, but then we have these more honest reviews and not, kid reviews, kids probably saying how great it is, or, super fans saying it's so amazing. Here's one of them, and yeah, a lot of people hate this movie for the same thing with why a lot of the older people hated the Boss Baby, Spies in Disguise, and especially any Illumination movie. And this is the problem with most modern animated movies. They always try to make it. They know that we all know Minions is very successful. We all know movies like Minions and Trolls were very successful. But the humor from those movies are basically, the generic kid humor that adults don't really find funny. Of course, like younger generations find funny, but most older generations will just roll their eyes at these movies, at these jokes. Okay, basically, they, but a lot of fans of Scooby Doo were disappointed. They were. And yeah, basically for the Illumination-esque jokes that people are sick and tired of seeing. That's why movies like Spider-Man and Spider-Verse was such a breath stress out. The jokes were unique and not all trying to, recycle the same five fart jokes for every movie. Yes, they are funny, but they get stale after a while. You can't really get funny if you use the same five jokes over and over and over again. And let's look at the trailers of Onward and this movie. Yeah, the jokes are not really that funny anymore because they have gotten stale. For example, Onward. Does the same thing with these Illumination-esque humor and to appeal towards the younger generation, and it doesn't work. It just doesn't work anymore for me. Of course, you could have like a 6-year-old laughing at how funny this movie is, but Onward wasn't really that funny. The trailer, and yeah, and if you look at any anime movie trailer, they have to shove a few jokes in there for the kids. They do that every single time. But yeah, essentially, there's a lot of people who do not like this movie because of their bad humor. And yeah, there's a lot of people who are angry at this, okay? And yeah, basically, you know, I think that the problem is with the animation industry is that every animation studio is trying to replicate the Despicable Me model with all these jokes that are not really that funny. That is the problem with movies like Scoob, movies that shouldn't really have these jokes, but they're doing it to appease the Minions audience. Just look at any animated movie of 2017 to 2019, excluding Spider-Man and Spider-Verse, Coco, and How to Train Your Dragon 3. It's obviously clear that most animated movies are like this now, because of the huge influence that the Minions franchise unfortunately has on the animation industry, not putting humor over story first. And don't really take the critic reviews because you can't really trust critics anymore after the whole Venom fiasco. Yes, that movie. But yeah, this is another proof that, that this type of humor is failing with the older audiences, and the older audiences are starting to get sick of it. The people who grew up with the 90s animated movies, mostly made by Disney, and movies like Shrek, who, of course, probably like those movies, or people who grew up in the early 2000s to late 90s, where they grew up with movies like Toy Story, Shrek, and The Lion King. And yeah, that's basically it. Goodbye.